Hey, welcome back to day two. We will hopefully get through today creating the individual pages for these release updates. This is where we got to yesterday. We had a list of an index page essentially of all of the releases, and then inside of those we had the grouped updates. And each of these updates had a applicable tag, whether that be new, improvement, fixed, etc. You can customize that completely through the CMS. And so I thought today it would be interesting to create individual pages for this. Like I say, we're using Gatsby, and I've not used Gatsby in a little while, so it's kind of it's good. It's good to explore and see where things are at in the Gatsby ecosystem. So let's just kick things off, I guess. Everything's in this index page at the moment. We'll probably split this up into components and stuff and refactor some of this a little bit later. I'm not too concerned at the moment because it doesn't really matter. So yeah, let's maybe dive in and have a think what we are going to do. So should I follow the docs? Let's follow the docs just in case anything's changed in Gatsby. I doubt it has. I think their API is stable, but what we'll be using is something like this. So let's just paste this in here. Let's then go to localhost 8000 / _GraphQL. Then inside of here, we kind of need to make that similar query, don't we? We need to just query this essentially. We're gonna have a page per release, so this obviously we don't need all this. We don't need all this. We don't even need the slug. Yeah, that's all we need, right? We don't even need that. We just need the nodes to generate the URLs for the slugs. Now, however the titles, sorry, the slugs were unique, so we don't have that battle. We don't have to worry that Gatsby's going to kind of complain that it's going to create, conflicting pages because we set them as unique inside of the CMS. The constraint, if I remember correctly, on release it had a slug which is unique, so that's good. So let's inside of here, not inside of there, inside of Gatsby node, let's update this query, and we'll just call this, we don't even need to give it a name, do we? Results, I like to destructure data and error, and if there is, let's have a look, blog post template, let's change this to be release page. And we'll go ahead and create a file inside of the directory templates, and we'll work on this in just a second. But let's tidy up the Gatsby node. Let's just break things up a little bit here so it's easier to compute. And let's have a look down here. We've got data all sample pages. Well, we now know that doesn't exist. It is in fact releases, and we aren't calling these edges. We are calling these nodes. So we're going to get all of the release nodes, and we are going to create a page for each of those. Now, to make things a little bit simpler, why don't we just use the slug for each of these? Let's also maybe just remove this, and we'll place slug here. And should we rename this to be release page template? And then we can just do, we could do /slug, and in fact we could just do require.resolve here, and we could pass the path, I believe, to source templates release page.js. That means we haven't got to define this constant up here. We can just do it in a line, and if there are any errors, then we'll want to throw those. Is it data.errors? I really can't remember. Is it error or errors? Or is errors inside of data? does Gatsby tell us about this? Result. So it's result. Result is just great. Result. Result.errors. So this will be this. And then we'll just throw errors. I don't know. Yeah, result, throw errors. Cool. And if it doesn't throw, we'll go ahead and create for each of the release nodes. We'll generate a page for those. So we need to go ahead and create this page now. Let's go inside of release page. And yeah, I've got to kind of remind myself what this looks like. This is probably not going to show us through. Documentation for the action create page. That's not going to do it. So I know. What do I know? What do I know? Do I know anything? So let's first import React from React. Let's then create the const release page. And I believe this takes in page context. What we'll do is we'll just return this to the page so we can see what we have to work with. And we should have the slug, I believe. So you'll notice, actually, this is probably, what am I doing? There we go. What you'll probably notice is we're just passing in the slug, so the page context is actually the slug. That's not really helpful. I don't want to make a huge query inside of here to get all of the data. I don't think it's necessary. We should make it at the page template level. At least in my experience, this has been kind of a best practice for me. Then we need to call that GraphQL query in the same way as we did on the index page. I can spell index. So we did this down here. We did this query here. We'll just copy this. And we'll say this is a release page query, but this time it'll take in a argument. And the argument will be ID. I know it will be slug. The slug is of type string. And then all we need to do is we need to make a query here. Let's actually just do this inside of GraphQL. Slug. It's never used. Of course, it's not used. We'll call this release. This is GraphQL aliasing, if you're not familiar with it. This means we don't have to use this long name when we are destruction. We can just prefix or alias the response of this field to something else. So I've got this release here. This works inside here with fields as well. So you could say, okay, I want you to return the total count as count inside of the response. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. But down here, let's do graph CMS release. And we'll do slug is equal to slug. And then obviously we can't get the total count because we are querying one node. But what we should be able to do now is we should be able to get the title. Let's actually pass in a slug as well. Can we, what should we do? November 30, 2020. There we go. So we get the title back. There's something weird going on with GraphQL as well. You click return if you define a new query, and it kind of just puts your cursor in the wrong place. I'm not sure if that's just me. Let's grab the URL. It's null, but that doesn't matter. We'll get the updates, and we'll do the description, the URL. See what I mean? It's putting the cursor in the wrong place, which is really annoying. And then we'll get the tag name, and we'll get the tag from there as well. So I think we've got everything we need. Similar to the home page, we're getting the exact same data. We'll wrap this into a GraphQL fragment as well to make that a little bit easier and similar to work with. It means we haven't got to redefine everything. multiple times, but I'm just going to copy this and paste this inside of here. And then we should also get data from here as well. So let's go ahead and pretty print to the page. Everything here, I will do null2 just to give it some spacing. Well, no, nothing in the replacer, but we'll give it some space as well. Yeah, so we should be good, I think. We'll need to import GraphQL from Gatsby. If you're using TypeScript, obviously it's a lot easier to kind of see what's required, but yeah, I'm not on that train just yet. So yeah, we're good. I think we're good. Let's stop the server. Let's restart. Let's run into a bunch of errors. I probably missed the step. I just kind of guessed my way through here. It's okay. Let's wait forever and a day for this to build. Let's go here. Let's just go to a path. Awesome. So we've got November 30. If we click on this, we get the page context. And this page context, this comes from here. This is what the page context is. We're just passing in the slug. We're not passing in anything else. But what that does mean is we can use this slug inside of the query here. So this is passed automatically from Gatsby. If you're familiar with Gatsby, then you know this. If you're new to Gatsby, this is really cool because it does allow you to kind of, inside of Node, just kind of get the least amount of data possible at this point to build the pages. And then as those pages are building, it can use the context to go ahead and fetch more data. So I think we've got everything we need to kind of continue. Like I say, we will refactor most of this. We'll probably do this in tomorrow's episode. Today, let's just get this page working. I thought what also could be nice is to show like a next and previous for each of the for each of the pages. Maybe we'll change the way we do this. Why don't we do that now? So inside of Gatsby Node, we will actually make this query, and we'll call edges instead. What did I do wrong? There we go. That's what I did wrong. Let's provide that. Return. Okay, cool. So let's actually now, inside of here, let's call edges. And then what we can do is we can get the next and the previous nodes as well as the current node. So first of all, let's get the current node, which is slug, and then let's get the next, and we'll say get the slug. We'll also get the title as well. It makes more sense here because this is the only time we need to use this pagination stuff. Let's grab the title and the slug, and we can pass that down to the template. So you'll see here. Is this right? Yes, this is right, I think. Previous, there's no previous one on the first one, but on the second there is, but there's no next one because we've only got two. That's fine. That is working. Let's paste this over here. And you'll see I've kept in the order, the sorting that we're using the single created at field, and we're ordering that ascending. And now down here, we have to change back from nodes to edges, and we can then destructure the node, next and previous. From the node, I only really need the slug, so I'm going to go ahead and destructure that. That could be a little bit overboard. It might not be as obvious to me in the future or to anyone else working on the project. Oh, I'm destructuring this thing called slug here from node. Maybe it's a little bit too much, but I don't mind. Then, I guess all that's left to do is rebuild. We can rebuild, right? And inside of here, we should get inside of page context now. We should get the slug. We should then get the previous and next values, and then we can show the we can add a link to the previous and next page, which is cool. We can do that automatically. So let's wait. Whoa, it's built. Good job. We've hardly got any data. There we go. The page context. The current page we're on. That's the slug. And the next one is going to be May 2020. Kind of going back in time. Or would that be previous? Okay. Maybe we need to reverse the order here for pagination. Yeah, maybe as we do that, let's just get it going and see how this looks. But we probably need to reverse the sorting for pagination because the next is going to be in the future and the previous is going to be in the past. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to Gatsby node, create out. We'll just say descend in order. Let's restart that. So let that run, and let's head on back to the release page template. And yeah, where are we at? We'll go to the index. We need to do this again. It's probably worth abstracting this release into its own component. So let's make a file called release.js. And then inside of here, we'll grab everything here, paste this here, remove that group by. We don't need GraphQL, right? So we can just do export default release. I can spell. Then in here we can import release from the components directory, and we'll grab that on the release page as well. And then in here, let's now go ahead and let's copy everything from the index page. Let's grab the next and previous from page context, and then grab the release from data. This is here. What are we doing? Let's copy this for this page. We'll refactor this later into some kind of layout component. But I want to make the release. I want to use the release title here, and then for the releases, yeah. So that actual component for release isn't actually going to work, is it? Release has more than just. It's got the updates, so maybe we need to spread the release updates into its own component as well. So we'll do release updates. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about the design here. Let's just why don't we just throw that component in for now? No, it's not going to work. We can do, what could we do? Yeah, let's take this. And then inside of here, we can refactor this. It's not a problem. Let's go ahead and grab all this stuff as well. So this will be release.updates. Add this here. We'll get rid of that because we'll need to split this out into its own component. Save that there. And then inside of here, I'm going to import. Import link from Gatsby. Let's move that up. And then where we have title here, let's do link to /slug. Okay, cool. So now this is actually a link. So if I click on May, it takes us to May. If I go to November, it takes us to November. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. We've got individual pages now for the individual releases, and then we can still click out if it's a link, and these are ordered. So yeah, we'll probably just refactor this tomorrow and put this inside of its own update components and make this a little simpler to follow. But for now, we've got pages being dynamically created from the GraphCMS content. Yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to do was have some buttons on here. So where should we place this? So let's move into that div. And let's add a div here. We'll say div class name is a flex justify between, and we'll do item center as well. This is Tailwind, if you're not familiar with it. Tailwind's cool. And let's import link, and back where we have this, we will add a link. Well, we'll include a link to, I'm guessing if there's a previous one. And this will be link to previous.slug. And this will be previous.title. Right. And then that'll be next. So there we go. I'm now clicking between those pages using Gatsby. And that's kind of just all done on the client, which is cool. Let's pop on over to Remix Icon and make these a little prettier. Everyone fall back. Arrow left. Arrow left should be fine. Let's close this out so we've got a bit more space to working. And we'll probably say class name is equal to inline flex, item center, space X. Haha. And we'll add a SVG here. I'm going to wrap this in a span for good measure because I want to change the, maybe just want to change the color and hover. So what did we make? Was it the index page or was it the release component? We used an SVG. There, this should be fine. Use the same one, right? We'll get rid of the group hover. I don't think we need it. Let's add it anyway. Let's be consistent. Let's maybe just bump the size to 5. Then now if we go to localhost, you'll see we get that back icon. We don't have... Yeah, this is weird, but this is just because I know it's obviously in the past. But here we don't have one in the future, so maybe we'll create one so we've got kind of both showing. Can we do that real quick? Yes, we can. Thanks to the power of a super fast CMS. Let's go in here and just say test. We'll not add any updates, it's not important. We'll have to rebuild, and that will fetch that down, but we should be able to see both of these in just a second. Let's also copy this for the next one. We'll go here, arrow, what was it, arrow left? We'll do arrow right. There we go. And we will pop that in here. Span. Now if we go back, refresh, we'll put it afterwards. Okay. Not published, right? Why is that not showing? npm run clean. npm run dev. Lup. Oh, come on. There we go. So we can go back to test, because that is the most recent. Obviously, ignore the names here. May, November, etc. Yeah, we'll need to change the order of those. Previous is like the most current. So yeah, let's just ignore next and previous. So we got this kind of linking through now. This is kind of just linking to the other pages, which is cool. What we may need to do is, we're obviously going to need a link back to the index page because it's not very cool, but we've got these kind of blocks now. This could go on forever, so maybe in the next video, so we paginate these and we add a little link down here to kind of go to the next page there or load more or something. But yeah, we kind of got this working now. And I can click test here. I can go here. I can see the previous ones. I can click around. Yeah. So I think we're in a good position. Let's tomorrow have a look at refactoring some of this. And maybe the day after that, we look at that kind of index pagination. But yeah, I think we're in a good place now. We've created those pages. I'll get this code pushed to GitHub so you can follow along. But yeah, let me know if you've got any questions, comments, and we'll keep hacking on this as the week goes on. But thank you very much for joining. Until next time, happy coding.